If you stop working today, how long can you live on the money you have? A month? A week? Or are you already in the red? If that bothers you, then this video is for you. Robert Kiyosaki grew up with two dads, not in the literal sense. One was his biological father, a smart man with a college degree, a master's degree, a PhD, an example of the traditional model of success. The other was his best friend's father, a businessman without a college degree, but with a sharp mind for business and investing. He called one Poor Dad and the other Rich Dad. Poor Dad said, "Study hard so you can get a good job." Rich Dad said, "Learn how money works and make it work for you." Over time, Robert realized, what separates the rich from the poor is not how hard they work, but how much they understand about money. And that was the basis of everything he learned. The book's first major lesson is a critique of our education system. School teaches you to be a good employee, to follow rules, meet deadlines, memorize content. But when did they teach you about taxes, debts, investments, assets, compound interest? The answer is never. That's because the system was designed to train workers, not financially free people. Robert's rich dad said, "School teaches you to work for money, but you need to learn how to make money work for you." And that thought changes everything. True education is not just academic, it's financial. Most people live trapped in something Robert calls the rat race. It works like this. You grow up, study, get a job. You start earning a salary. With that, you buy a car. You finance a house. You spend on leisure. And before you know it, you have to work harder and harder just to pay the bills. And the cycle repeats itself, month after month. The bills arrive before your salary. Your credit card becomes a monster, and you start working just to survive. That's the rat race. And you know what's worse? Even when your salary goes up, your lifestyle goes up with it. More debt, more expenses, and the prison continues. Rich Dad used to say, "The key is not to work harder, it's to work smarter." This is perhaps the most powerful and most misunderstood lesson in the book. The difference between assets and liabilities. Most people think they know, but they don't. Robert explains it simply. Assets are anything that puts money in your pocket. Liabilities are anything that takes money out of your pocket. It's that simple. A car that you finance, liability. A house that you live in, also liability if it doesn't generate income. A rented apartment that pays you rent every month, that's an asset. Rich Dad's golden rule was clear. Gather assets and use the income from those assets to buy whatever you want. The middle class buys liabilities thinking they're getting rich. The rich buy assets and let them pay for luxuries. Robert learned early on that money is a tool. It is neither good nor bad, it is neutral. But what differentiates the rich from the poor is how they view money. The poor see money as an end. They want to spend what they earn as quickly as possible. The rich see money as a means. They want to multiply it before spending it. Rich Dad said, "Money is a great slave, but a terrible master." That means you need to control your money. If you spend everything you earn, money controls you. But if you learn to invest, to save, to analyze opportunities, you become the master of the game. Another powerful lesson. Don't just work for the money. Work to learn. Rich Dad encouraged Robert to work different types of jobs, not for the pay, but for the skills. Work in sales to learn how to negotiate. Work in accounting to understand numbers. Work in small companies to see how a business works. That practical knowledge is worth more than a big salary, because in the end, what makes you grow is not how much you earn. It's how much you learn. And what you learn, no one can take away from you. It all starts in the mind. The difference between the rich and the poor is not just financial, it's mental. Poor Dad said, "I can't afford that." Rich Dad asked, "How can I afford that?" See the difference. One closes the door. The other opens the mind to possibilities. The language you use shapes your thinking. If you always say, "I'm bad with money," you'll continue to be. But if you say, I'm learning how to handle money better, you change the game. Mindset is the foundation of everything, and changing your mindset is the first step to getting out of the rat race. Now you may be asking yourself, okay, but where do I start? The answer is simple. Start small, start now. Write down all your expenses. Find out where your money is going. Study up on assets, stocks, real estate funds, online businesses. Stop buying liabilities without thinking. Ask yourself before each purchase, will this put money in or take money out of my pocket? Invest in knowledge. Read books. Watch videos like this. Talk to people who know more. Don't wait for the ideal moment. The ideal moment never comes. Financial freedom is not a destination. It's a process, and it starts with a simple decision: to take control of your financial life. Rich Dad, Poor Dad is not an investment manual. It's an awakening. It's an invitation for you to rethink everything you've learned about money. It doesn't matter where you were born or how much you earn today. What matters is what you do with what you have and what you're willing to learn. Because at the end of the day, the real asset is you, and no one will take better care of your financial life than you. Rich Dad used to say, the poor and the middle class work for money. The rich make money work for them. The question now is, which of these fathers will guide your life from now on?